Hi LEGO Ninja Turtles fans! Check out my TMNT collection, it's getting huge! We have all kinds of minifigures, big Bionicle-like ones, and some interesting sets. And I'm planning to add even more, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. Today we don't just have a brand new TMNT set, but also the biggest disappointment I've seen in the last year and a half of my reviews. Watch the video till the end and I'll tell you what I didn't like and what turned out to be okay after all. First of all, when I unboxed Shredder, I immediately noticed how much I love his coloring. It really makes me want to compare it with the big Shredder figure. Go check out that video if you haven't seen it. Honestly, this Ninja Turtles collection is pretty awesome. You can see them on the screen right now. Take a look.
It's for you.
That's harsh, man.
Shredder's head is actually really fun. The design is similar on both the minifigure and the larger figure, which I think is pretty cool. But for now, let's unpack all our minifigures and arrange them neatly. It's kind of funny that every minifigure in this set comes with a skateboard. Definitely a strange choice. I mean, why would Shredder or Splinter even need one? But hey, the more accessories, the better, right? And it's still a nice little bonus. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. Alright, let's get started with the build. I want to dive straight into Shredder. That's something we don't see very often in sets. We don't have many Shredders in the collection, and as far as I can remember, we've never had a Shredder minifigure before. Right away I was curious to compare Shredder's helmet on the minifigure with the one on the larger figure. They look very similar, and both are made quite well. The minifigure's coloring is actually pretty good. However, there's absolutely no print on the back, and that's a big minus. I really don't like it. Usually, this just means the manufacturer was trying to cut costs. Sure, sometimes a minifigure's back is covered by a cape, sometimes even a fixed plastic cape. And okay, that's a kind of understandable cost-saving trick. But we don't always have the cape on, right? Overall, I'm not a fan of sets where the back isn't painted. Also, what's unusual and unique about our Shredder are the shoulder pads and the fairly standard claws. The cape's quality is pretty decent. Nothing amazing, but satisfactory. Overall, I really like this Shredder figure. Everything fits together well, nothing is loose. Not the arms, not the legs, and not the hands. Everything holds firmly. The hands grip objects well too and aren't wobbly at all. And as I mentioned earlier, Shredder comes with a skateboard. Totally standard for sets like this. Plus, the set comes with a whole bunch of stickers for the skateboard and the pizza. Honestly, I'm not super interested in putting them on. For me, that's probably the most boring part of the set. Alright, let's move on and take a closer look at the Ninja Turtles minifigures. The first thing that I've noticed is that the minifigures' coloring isn't the highest quality. Although, unlike Shredder, the turtles do have a print on their backs, which is a nice touch. I tried to film it so you can clearly see on camera that the coloring isn't top-notch. For example, on the shell there are some paint smudges around the belt. And it kind of looks like Raphael's eyes are set really close together. When I put the head on, I noticed something really strange. What's that gap? I didn't understand. It's like the head actually comes apart. Let's take a closer look at the head. I've honestly never seen anything like this before. So look, apparently this head really does come apart. You can remove the top part, separate the mask, and then take off the lower part of the head. Crazy! I've literally never seen anything like this in my life. Have you ever seen this kind of construction in original LEGO or maybe in some LEGO-style sets? I can't help but wonder, in our other Ninja Turtles minifigures, did they ever use a construction like this? Or is it unique to this particular set? It's honestly funny, interesting, and unusual. I'm amazed. Personally, I really like it. I love little discoveries like this. Although, for actual play, it might not be the most practical thing. And if you're a collector, maybe it won't be your favorite feature either. But for me, as someone who enjoys anything unusual and new, this is definitely a big plus. Alright, let's finish up the build and check out the weapons. These Sai, well, they're absolutely nothing special. Just plain plastic. No special coloring, no shine, nothing fancy. We had another Ninja Turtles set with skateboards where Raphael's Sai were way better. Go watch that video if you haven't yet. Honestly, the figures in that set were excellent too, so definitely check it out. Still, these Sai at least hold firmly in the hands, no wobbling at all, which is always a good thing. Moving on to the next Ninja Turtle. By the way, I noticed that these minifigures don't have emblems on their belts, unlike some of the other turtles in our collection. Those have cleaner, higher quality prints, plus a letter on the belt that makes it super easy to tell which turtle is which. Here we've got Michelangelo, of course. I'm not too impressed with the head print again. The eyes and mouth just aren't very sharp. But with Mikey, I feel like he has to get the skateboard. Out of all the turtles, he's the one who really feels like he needs it. It just fits his personality. We've seen this nunchaku construction before in another set, but back then it was better. The chain was painted, chrome, shiny. Here it's just plain plastic, a cheaper version. I'll compare these minifigures with our other ones at the end of the video. And while I was talking, I went ahead and assembled Donatello. He's pretty much exactly the same as the others, with the same flaws you've already noticed. The coloring just isn't the highest quality. While putting together Leonardo, I suddenly ran into a problem. Look at this. See how loose it is? The arm, the hand, it just doesn't sit firmly. It holds well enough inside the arm socket, but it rotates way too easily on its own. That's a pretty serious flaw. A definite minus, and I'm not a fan of it. Now the set does include quite a few spare hands, so you can try swapping them out. Unfortunately, no luck. Even with the replacements, they're still wobbly, which means it's not just a defect in the individual hands. It's a design flaw in this set itself. Alright, let's move on to building Splinter. Once again, we see that he does have a back print, which is nice. But the quality? Well, take a look. The lines on his back and chest aren't very sharp, and the colors just aren't that bright. On the positive side, the head print looks pretty clean. Still, there are issues. Little stripes and rough corners on the ears, plus some paint smudges. Not exactly satisfying. And here we go again. Splinter also has a loose arm. What is happening here? None of the earlier minifigures had this problem, but now we've hit it 2 in a row. Look at this. The left arm is fine. No issues at all. So why is the right one wobbly? Really frustrating. I tried swapping out Splinter's arm. Now it holds the weapon more or less okay, but still. These flaws do affect the overall impression and kind of ruin the mood of the set. So let's compare our new figures with what we've already had before. This right here is our benchmark minifigure set. I actually have a separate video on it, and you'll see some clips of those figures popping up on screen. Earlier I showed you Raphael from that set, and now here are the rest of the turtles. These minifigures, yes, they're unofficial, but they are seriously top-notch. I'd rate them at about 4.5, maybe even 4.7 out of 5. They're just that good, super playable, really well done. Honestly, I can't recommend that review video enough. Go check it out if you haven't. Just look at their weapons alone, they're absolutely worth it. And the coloring, gorgeous, really rich and sharp. In short, these figures are top tier. The only small drawback is that Michelangelo came with a regular chain on his nunchaku. Now, in one of the other sets, I'll drop in a link and some clips, the nunchaku chain was metallic. Imagine if we could swap that chain onto these nunchaku. It would be absolutely perfect. And finally, we come to our new set, which, right off the bat, stands out for having a bunch of little flaws. First of all, the prints just aren't as bright or vivid as they should be. The faces aren't sharp or detailed either. They're not as juicy as we've seen before. And that's surprising, because we know perfectly well that sometimes Chinese manufacturers can produce absolutely stunning prints. At least here you can really see the difference, and how much better it could have been. Take Raphael for example. His eyes even look like they're set a bit too close together. And the body prints? Well, they're missing a lot of fine detail. Not completely dull, but definitely not vibrant enough. But of course, the biggest drawback of all is the wobbly hands. They rotate way too freely. Sure, they don't actually fall out, which would be a disaster, but still, this is a really big flaw. A serious one. Also, the fact that I can actually take the head apart? Well, in a way that's kind of cool. Some people might even call it a feature, maybe even a bonus. I don't know. Personally, I find it interesting, so I'd probably count it as a plus. But if we're looking at it strictly from a playability perspective, then it's more of a minus. In my opinion, a head shouldn't come apart like that. Still, I can't deny, it is pretty fun and unusual. Alright, enough about the negatives. Let's talk about the positives. And yes, there are some. First of all, the extras. Every single minifigure here comes with a skateboard. That gives us 6 skateboards in total, plus stickers for them. And on top of that, 6 pizzas. With stickers as well. I didn't bother sticking them on because, honestly, I don't find that part very exciting. And of course, the big highlight, this set introduces 2 brand new characters we don't have in any of our other sets, Splinter and Shredder. Let's take a closer look at each of them. Overall, Splinter looks pretty good. The head has nice detailing, but the coloring does have its flaws. For example, here on the ear, you can see a rough patch, and over here, there's another little paint smudge. In general, there's no doubt about it. This whole set of minifigures is clearly made for play, not for display. That other set I showed you earlier, now that one works both ways. It's fantastic for playing, and it also looks solid sitting on a shelf. But this set? Yeah, this one is really just for play. Now onto the positives, and honestly I really like Shredder. He's probably the coolest figure in the whole set. First off, his print is actually pretty good. It's bright and vibrant, unlike most of the other minifigures here. Plus, he's got some extra details that really bring the character to life. The claws, the shoulder pads, and that awesome helmet. All of it is done quite well, and I have to say I like it a lot. That said, the face print is only so-so. We can spot a few subtle but still noticeable flaws in the pupils. And of course, the back is completely blank. They definitely cut corners here. No print at all, just covered up by the cape. Now, if you look at the One Piece anime set, that's where things were done much better. There was an amazing figure in there with a fully detailed back, even though it was hidden under a stiff plastic cape that didn't move at all. Here, technically, you can lift the cape and see the back, but there's nothing there. With One Piece, they handled it differently and honestly better. And of course, the final plus of this set is the price. It's actually one of the cheapest we've ever bought for a review. The whole set cost around $6. Still, my final rating is 3 stars. Yes, you can buy it and have some fun with it. But honestly, only if you already have other minifigures you love more. And these are just extras to bulk up the numbers. For example, maybe you want to build an army of Ninja Turtles. Or if you're missing Splinter and Shredder for play and really want them in your collection. So that's our review of this rather unlucky set. Let me know, do you actually want to see reviews of unsuccessful sets like this one? And now check out my full Ninja Turtles collection. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. On the right, you'll see a video YouTube has picked just for you based on your interests. And on the left, there's a playlist with all my Ninja Turtles reviews and builds. Definitely check it out. Smash that like button, don't forget. It really helps. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.